Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in. Now, one of the things I want you to think about, and this is one of the things that I'm realizing every day, just looking at life and seeing the world, is the fact that we got to get out our feelings. The fact that life does not stop, and no one cares about our offense, what we offended by, and life itself is gonna be hurtful, harmful, offensive. I don't know what that was. And we got to get out of our feelings, because if we stuck in our feelings, it ain't much we can do. There's not much that we can do in life if we always in our feelings, because when you in your feelings, you can't be clear. You can't be focused. You can't process your next move because you offended. And that's one thing you have to realize and understand, that when you operate in offense, when you always offended, it cripples you. And that which offends you, it's doing good. It's moving on. And you are left stuck, struggling, going back and forth, not being able to have peace, have clarity, and move forward. So that has to be understood. And I think a lot of times we don't really process that, and we don't understand that it's our job to respond to whatever happens, instead of us coming to a place to where we reacting to everything, and it's stealing our joy, stealing our energy, and it's getting the best of us. And a lot of times, it's, we want to be offended by everything. Offended by the customer service, offended at the restaurant, offended at the gas station, offended at this, offended at that. And the next thing you know, it's like, ain't nobody mad but us. And you got to be able to fight through that. Got to be able to press through. So that's one of the things where it won't be easy. And in order to make it, in order to get where you're trying to go, you got to be able to let things roll off your back like water off a duck. Because once life realizes that you are easily offended and you easy to knock off your path, that's what's going to keep happening. And when that keeps happening, what do you realize? What do you see? You see the same things. You keep going through the same pattern. Starting, stopping, starting, stopping. Doing good, then boom, something happened. Derail you. Get a good start, you going, you working, you got something moving for yourself, then boom, get stuck. Next thing you know, stagnant. And you'll see that same pattern happen over and over and over again, until you come to the place to where you say, you know what, I'm gonna stop being offended. I'm gonna stop letting stuff get to me, people get to me, and I'm gonna walk in my power, and I'm gonna be emotionally intelligent, and I'm not gonna let anybody get me to a place to where I'm stressing and struggling while they pressing and bubbling, because they want to get under my skin. And then you gotta know how to, when you got to defend yourself, when you got to stand up for yourself, when you got to do that, but you do so in power. You don't do it bent over, boohoo crying. You do it saying, hey, this is what needs to be done. I'm gonna do this confidently. If you got to walk away, if you got to file a lawsuit, if you got to press charges, if you got to, whatever you got to do, you got to do it. And don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in that situation where you taking and you dealing with this thing to where you can't process your emotions and your feelings because someone else knows what buttons to push and how to get under your skin, and they disrupting your life. Your stomach hurting. You upset. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You got to keep pressing. You got to find the next way. You got to realize, okay, nothing gonna stop this here locomotive. Nothing gonna, like they say, one monkey don't stop no show. That have to be your motto for life. Not your boss, not your coworker, not your spouse, not your boyfriend, girlfriend, not your mama, not your sister, not your brother, not your cousin, not your friend. Don't nobody stop your show. You got to keep going. And you got to be resourceful. You got to think about, okay, what's my next option? What's my next opportunity? What can I do next? Let me be creative. Let me think outside of the box. Let me make something out of nothing. Okay, I done prayed. Now let me work. Let me be ingenuitive. Let me get going. And now you got to press. You done prayed, now you got to press. Unless the Lord say sit still, but you got to make sure that's the Lord saying sit still, and that's not your fatigue saying sit still. That ain't your laziness saying sit still. That ain't your ego saying sit still. You got to make sure the Lord saying sit still now. And when he say sit still, it don't mean what a lot of times we think it mean. We might think sit still mean just don't do nothing. Sit still might mean get in your planner. Write it. Write the vision, make it plain. Think up strategy. You ain't did nothing. You ain't filed nothing. You ain't said nothing, but you bringing it all together. And so that's what you got to realize and understand. That you got to get out your feelings. Don't nobody care. Ain't nobody coming to save you. It's you and the Lord. Buckle up. Suck it up, buttercup. Get what you get, don't pitch a fit. All that right there. And you got to keep going. You know, dry them tears. Dry them tears and get you something for that stomach ache. Scratch your booty, get glad. It's time to go. You got to work. You got to grind. Ain't no more excuses. Think outside the box. Do what you got to do. Make it happen. Do what you got to do. Make it happen. If you sit down and see when you sit down and you still and you go to thinking, you go to let that mind running, or your options and your opportunities and what got to be done, man, look here. That's when your mind gonna show you what a mind is. That's when you gonna realize how these people done built rocket ships. Cause you gonna feel a little inkling of that. You're gonna be like, whoa, I could have built that rocket ship. All these ideas I'm coming up with, all these options I'm coming up with, all this ingenuity I'm coming up with. Man, why I wasn't in there doing rocket science on Hidden Figures? Man, why I ain't do this? Why I ain't do that? Because that's when your mind gonna show you why it's a mind. And you're gonna be blown. You're gonna be blown away at what's in you. That you never sat still enough and was quiet enough to hear. And then when you hear it, you're gonna be in shock. Y'all, I'm about to run out of gas. Gas on low. I sure hope it don't cut off on me. I'll be on here pushing the car on my video. But hey, God bless you. I don't want to harp on this for too long, because today we flying out today, so I gotta catch a flight. So I'll be pumping up some shorter videos. So y'all forgive me for shorter length. Cause when I'm running, you know, running and gunning, videos got to be short so I can upload them on the car Wi-Fi or cellular data. But God bless you. Keep your head up. Keep going. It's gonna work out.